Hey everybody, how are you? This is our Get Healthy You TV live Q&A, and today is a really special Q&A because I have Lindsey Bomgren with us.
Hi, you guys.
So all of you Get Healthy You TV members who have been doing Lindsey's workouts, she's here with us live, as well as we have our moderator tonight, the lovely Claire Davidson. Hello, Claire.
Hi, how's it going?
Claire is one of the editors at Get Healthy You. She's amazing, and she is here to help us moderate all the questions. So we're really excited you guys are here. I want to tell you a little bit about how Lindsey and I met, just to kind of fill you in, because I work on home shopping. Many of you may have seen me on QVC in the years past. And then, as of recent, I've been on Evine Live, which is the old Shop NBC, if you're aware of that channel. And so I was on, selling some fitness piece of equipment, and one of my lovely models in the background was Lindsey, right? And so we started talking, and she told me, hey, I do a lot of workouts and videos, and I was like, are you kidding? So I viewed her video, and I was like, she's the type of gal we love, right? All of you Get Healthy You TV people, I love her personality, I love her spirit, I love her, the way she cues, everything. So I hope you guys are enjoying her workouts. But I thought it would be really fun to have her on our Q&A so that we could kind of take turns answering questions or maybe add some perspective. We're obviously different ages, so we can add some perspective. I have to mention, just really quickly too, we have my new puppy here, Roxy. She's in the office with me. I'm trying to steady this table, and she's being a little naughty right now, so I'm going to pull something away from her and give her a treat, and we'll get started, and I hope she is not too obnoxious. I am going to show her to you guys on the camera. So let's get started, Claire.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to answer your questions. We've got one right off the bat from Tammy, who wants to know, she says, I've given up drinking my daily Diet Coke, but I find that I miss the fizz when I drink soda. It seemed to quench my thirst, or I just liked it. Is there a healthy alternative to satisfy that fizzy craving?
Well, interestingly enough, hey, we have two fizzy drinks right here. I'll tell you, I'm drinking, just a LaCroix, which is a fizzy water. I tend to like flat water when I'm working out and when I'm hot, but just, I don't know, I'd enjoy a fizzy water instead of a Diet Coke. So this is kind of my answer to that. And you're drinking?
I have kombucha, which is the fermented beverage. If you haven't heard about it, it's like a fermented black tea or green tea you can get, but there's a bunch of brands you can buy there. It's actually really cool because it's getting into now Targets. I've even seen it at some grocery stores. Used to just be like a specialty Whole Foods item, but it's really actually now you can pretty much get it anywhere.
And even at restaurants and stuff.
Yes, restaurants.
And it's fermented, which is really good for your gut, and it has a little fizz to it.
Yes.
So when you pop open the bottle, you kind of have to be careful. I've opened it before in my car, and it's like all over the place. But maybe that would be a good alternative, because honestly, when the whole thing with fake sweeteners, they're just not my favorite. So that's what I would try.
But congrats on giving up the Diet Coke. That's
I know,
awesome.
I love it. Nux, isn't that what they say?
Yeah, we're all about the LaCroix in the office. It's really good.
God, are we ever, yeah.
Marian asked, is there an alternative exercise to do for bad knees besides a lunge? Or how could she modify that for bad knees?
Well, I'll give you one, and let's see if Lindsey has one. Well, and at Get Healthy You, we have several articles about bad knees. So, different exercises you could do. Most people, what they want to do is put less body weight into the knees, whether it is because you had surgery or you just got bum knees from sports early on, or you're a little overweight and then joints hurt you. I would suggest glute bridges. You get on your back and you lift your glutes in the air, and there's going to be a lot less stress on your knees. Are there any other ones that you... favorites for you?
I agree with the glute bridges. I like intensifying it too by putting one leg, doing a single leg glute bridge, or putting one leg up on a bench or a step or a chair, and really then gives you that extra. Otherwise, doing step-ups is very similar.
Step-ups is a little easier on your knees. Yep.
Going to be easier. Otherwise, for modifying the lunge, I always go into maybe an isometric lunge. So if getting into the lunge is comfortable, but it's the range of motion that's difficult, go into an isometric lunge, and then you can modify by lifting up the front heel off the ground, dropping the front heel down, or just slightly shifting your weight forward and back. Isometrics are awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Or holding onto a chair and just going halfway down and getting those knees used to it. And by the way, in Rock Your Body Boot Camp, we have quite a few glute bridge type exercises on the stability ball.
Awesome. So Michelle writes and says, I'm 43 and cannot lose weight. I walk 3 miles a day and try to do weights twice a day. What else should I be doing to lose weight?
Weights twice a day or twice a week?
I feel like it might have meant twice a week, because twice a day would be a lot. But
Holy God,
You're crushing it. I don't know what to do.
you're doing great.
You know, I can speak from experience that the 40s get a little tougher. Like what worked in the 20s and 30s doesn't always work in the 40s and 50s. And so I would really suggest, and this is what I talk to a lot of women about, is what kind of walking are you doing? Are you intensifying that walk? I mean, there's like, I love to walk. I'll walk the dog. I go walking with girlfriends. But the intensity matters. A couple times a week, you want to get that intensity up. So maybe, you know, we have a blog, Claire, that we put up about 3 ways to boost your walking workouts, where we added things like intervals or jumping jacks or walking lunges or a set of stairs or something where you can pick that intensity up, because part of it is getting that heart rate up and burning up enough calories. And then, of course, muscle is good for metabolism also. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I really liked how you said the set of stairs while walking. So whenever I'm doing a run or a walk, I always like to go, and I have like my places, you know, where I know there's like a set of stairs built in there, and I'll do my run, and then just mid-run, I'll just run up those stairs, and that just like escalates just like
your heart rate. It's about getting your heart rate up, and I love that you have your spots. I mean, I do too. Claire knows, like right near our office, we've got this set of steps where, you know, you can run up and down, and on my walk with my girlfriends, we have 3 sets of stairs that we come in contact with, if you will, and we always do like walking lunges and running up and down and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I would suggest that.
Awesome. Okay, so this next question is about cellulite. Kathy says, for cellulite, will weight training get rid of it, especially if it's on the arms, the legs, and inner and outer thighs?
Well, will strength training get rid of it? Strength training will help tone it. Here's the thing with cellulite, especially like in the legs. If you think of your legs like webbing, right? Like so there's the skin, and then the muscle fibers are like webbing. What's happening is if they're a little bit loose and the skin is a little thinner on the legs, and for us ladies, a couple things are going on. We shave our legs, so there's no hair to cover it up like guys. We wear shorter clothes than guys do, and we have thinner skin than they do. So that's why you don't see that cellulite. So if there's even the muscle fibers are just a little loose, that fat can pillow through, and it gives you that effect. So tightening up those muscle fibers will make a difference, absolutely. Sometimes it's genetic. And sometimes it's age, because the skin just kind of loosens up. So being hydrated, doing a lot of circulatory things where you like do body scrubbing, or you do a lot of massage on your legs just to keep the blood flowing. But strength training is probably the #1 thing you can do. And I think maybe Lindsey could even attest, it's not even an age thing. Sometimes it is, you know, I see a lot of girls in their 20s who have cellulite too.
Definitely strength training. For sure. I mean, if you're young and you're agile and able to, plyometrics, I think, are like the #1 way to just.
Well, we do a lot of plyometrics on Get Healthy UTV, and I always tell you guys. I mean, I'm 50. I do plyometrics. I just listen to my body. Some are better for me than others. You got to pick and choose. So,
yeah. And I like to think that foam rolling helps cellulite.
Well, it does promote circulation, right. So foam rolling is a good thing.
Yes.
But don't beat yourself up, because it's pretty common for most people. I always say celebrities have cellulite too. They just get airbrushed in the magazines.
Yeah, they have a team of people helping them.
Right, they have people.
Yeah. This is kind of a related question. It's from Jan, and she says she's been losing a lot of weight. Awesome. But she noticed the skin on her upper arms is getting loose. And are there specific exercises she could try to kind of tone them and make them look better?
Well, I mean, all arm exercises are going to help. I mean, it depends on how much weight you've lost. If you're a person who's lost, I've seen people who have lost 100 pounds, and their arms, like the skin has kind of re-shrunk onto their arms, and I've seen other people who have, you know, a lot of skin still hanging there. Again, back to genetics, your age, how long you were overweight, all that kind of stuff plays in. But skin will retract. It will, you know, it is elastic. As we get older, it's a little less elastic, but it will, through strength training, shrink a little bit. You know, we all have to be a little kind to ourselves too, because as we age, I mean, we'd all love to say it would be perfect, but nothing's perfect. But it's what can you bear with. Check out upper body. I mean, you got to do upper body exercises, and we love body weight.
Yes.
We talk about that. We love body weight exercises, but for a lot of people, body weight exercises are pretty tough. So throw in some dumbbell exercises in there too, and I would just, honestly, I would say the key word is consistency. Like, if you're going to start strength training your arms, doing bicep and tricep exercises, make sure you're doing them 2-3 times a week, not just once every so often.
Yes. And I like to tell people, too, because that wave kind of usually tends to come, like, right around the tricep area. And so there is a thing about having to be kind on yourself. that's where men or women, carry testosterone receptors. And so there are certain women who have naturally ripped arms, you guys, and they don't strength train. It's because their testosterone's a little bit higher. But so you do have to be kind to yourself. I try working my arms so hard, and they never get stronger.
You look great. Yes, you do.
But to attest to that also is triceps, you guys. Triceps are a 3-headed muscle, which means your bicep is a 2-headed muscle. You guys, triceps have the capacity to be bigger than your biceps. We just don't train them enough. So really triceps, 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 and you can get them involved in so many exercises, tricep dips, chair dips, all that stuff.
That's awesome. I didn't know all of that about testosterone receptors. That's very fascinating. Super cool.
I was looking into it because I have a girlfriend who never strength trains, and her arms are just jacked. And I'm like, what is this? And she was like, genetically, she has higher testosterone. She started telling me about it, and I was like, I kind of don't like you anymore. I'm just kidding.
Well, and one thing is, what was easier when you're younger gets harder as we get older. But you got to keep positive. You got to think, you don't want to go, oh, woe is me. You got to think, okay, how can I be smarter about the kind of exercise I'm doing and put it into my weekly routine?
Definitely. All right, we've got a specific question from Patty who just wants to know, she says, I'm wondering if biking is good for your core.
Biking is very good for your core. When you are on a bike and you are hinged over from your hips and you're leaning forward, you want to keep your spine long, your abs connected so that your low back doesn't hurt, and then you're using those legs. It's a great low-impact exercise. So it is good for your core. It's like an isometric on your core. Because you are hinged over, you've got to keep those abs nice and tight to protect your back muscles are firing also. So I think it's great for core workouts. Of course, all core workouts are better when you are actually mentally connecting to your core. I mean, you got to think about it, because you could just sit there with your abs hanging out. You could sit there with your abs hanging out any time of the day, right? That's the beauty of Pilates. Pilates teaches you to constantly be thinking about pulling in those ab muscles.
I totally agree. I mean, if you've ever taken a cycling class and done tap backs where you touch your butt to the seat, stand up, touch your butt, I mean, that's core 101.
Yeah, it works.
Awesome. Okay, so Donna wants to know, do you have recommendations for healthy breakfast options besides smoothies? She says she likes smoothies okay, but prefers more texture.
Okay, well, I'll tell a few, and then you can tell a few. So I am a smoothie gal. I love it because I also like texture. So I throw pumpkin seeds and pistachios and other nuts and like cranberries, like dried cranberries into my smoothies to get texture. I love that. Or granola. By the way, that's Roxy making that noise, our dog. We'll show you her in a minute. I also love oatmeal, and then I also put things like walnuts and stuff in my oatmeal. And the other thing I would say is I am a lover of the muffin in a minute. We have it on Get Healthy You. It's a recipe where literally there's no flour. It's flaxseed, egg, baking powder, cinnamon, a little olive oil. Add in any mix-ins. I do walnuts, blueberries, microwave it. Out it comes in a gorgeous, yummy muffin. It's delicious.
I gotta try that.
You gotta try it. It's awesome.
I gotta try that. Yeah.
Any other breakfast?
I mean, my staples, I'm a kind of a smoothie girl myself too, but like you said, I'm always topping it with stuff. So I'm always topping with berries, or sometimes actually I just take regular rolled oats, old-fashioned oats, and throw them in there too to act as my granola. So that's a great way to add texture. Otherwise, I know Chris mentioned the muffins, but I'm a huge egg muffin fan.
Well, I like eggs a lot.
You can pre-make them, even hard-boiled eggs, I'll crack them in a pan so then you don't have to peel them. I crack them in a muffin tin, stick them in the oven, and then I can just grab them and go. But I'm a total egg muffin fan. I love putting little feta cheese, tomato, basil, broccoli, and then some eggs or egg whites in the muffin tin, and I grab about 3 of those in the morning, and that's my grab and go. Because I'm a grab and go. And overnight oats. Overnight oats.
We have a lot of overnight oats on the website. I don't know if you guys are hearing at the GHU offices here. We have a train that goes by 10 times, maybe more. How many times a day do you think, Claire, it goes by?
Sometimes it feels like a lot, but sometimes I forget it's there. So
I forget it's there too. So if you're hearing a train, and then if you're hearing a toy, it's my darling Roxy, and I'm going to pick her up in a little while and show you guys our little puppy. I just don't want to upset her because right now she's squeezing her toy and she's being kind of happy. Hey, Claire.
Yeah.
I did see a quick question come by on the side about the Octane Zero Runner. So if someone is watching and is questioning the Octane Zero Runner, I just want to comment on that. It is a product out there. It's a new piece of equipment in the last year that is for runners that is low impact on the hips and knees. And I do some work with Octane, so I've been on it. I've talked about it. I've rode on it. I've done several miles on it. I absolutely love it. What they actually say what it does is has a knee joint, so that you're making the running motion. It's not like an elliptical where you're going like this. You're actually making the running motion, but it's low impact. I love it. For any of you, depending on where you live, you could absolutely try it out at a sporting goods store. It's at most high-end sporting goods stores, things like Second Wind Fitness, Chicago, Sport and Health, all different kinds throughout the country. But if you are a runner who says, you know what, I can't put those outdoor miles on so much anymore, I would definitely try it. Also, a lot of gyms have it. Lifetime Fitness, where I work, has a bunch of zero runners. I just wanted to quickly answer that for someone who is watching.
Oh my gosh, we just had someone, Damien says, can you please stop teasing us with the promise of a cute puppy and show us Roxy already?
Okay, I will right now. You're right. Okay, hold on. Come here, girl. Come here. Oh my goodness. And she's right now, she's eating the rug. She's not allowed to eat the rug. Rox, say hi. Oh, don't you bite. Say hi. Look, can you say hi to everybody? Look right here. Right there. Oh, can you see everybody? This is Roxy. She's a little hyper before bedtime. Okay, there we go.
The people wanted to see the pooch.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so we have another question from Lindsey, and she wants to know, you've been discussing the importance of boosting your cardio and getting your heart rate up. So she wants to know, am I wasting time if I also do yoga? How does that thinking fit in with yoga? Because yoga is not about getting the heart rate up, it's focused on being gentle. And how can these opposing fitness routines jive? She goes, I regularly do cardio and strength training with weights.
I'll quickly say that it depends on the type of yoga, because there are some yogas that get the heart rate way up, hot yoga, vinyasa flow yoga. But if you are doing like gentle yoga, it jives with cardio and strength perfectly, because you know there's kind of that three-prong thing. There's the cardio, the strength, and then the flexibility. And keeping flexibility in the joints and the muscles is freedom of range of motion. So I think it jives really well. We just, again, are putting up a new blog. Claire, I don't know if you put it up yet, about yoga for upper body strength.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, because it really is such a great form of exercise for improving your upper body strength. And then you can never discount the beauty of the breathing and the relaxed mind and the meditation part of it. So I think it jives beautifully. I know you like yoga.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. Variety is the spice of life for me. I'm kind of a group fitness junkie, video junkie. I'm like always like my husband comes home and he's like, what? And I'm like bouncing around. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing dance aerobics today. And he's like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's working. But really because I personally have had struggles with overtraining. So I was like a HIIT girl and a cardio queen, and I overtrained and basically gotten to a point where your metabolism, it stops working.
We just put up a blog about that, about, you know, perhaps you might want to start considering a rest day if you really know what happens to your body when you overtrain.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think yoga fits beautifully. I personally do about 2 to 3 high-intensity interval training type of workouts a week, and then I do 2 to 3 Pilates bar yoga workouts. And so I think they flow beautifully together because it's a great mix, and you can't, it's a great mix to not overtrain your muscles and to keep your body fresh. I mean, if you're doing yoga every day or if you're doing HIIT every day, A, you're going to get bored, but B, your body's going to get bored, and it's going to start burning less calories too.
Right. So you guys, I have to tend to I had to bring Roxy to the office today because she's been in her kennel too much. My husband is traveling for work right now, so it's like having a baby. So I hope you guys put up with me. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so Libby says, this is a very common question about belly fat, which we get a lot of questions about. She says, I'm 54 and have lost 20 pounds since January. I'm eating cleaner and doing free weights and cardio, but I can't seem to lose my belly fat. What kind of exercises can I add to my routine?
Well, the cardio is good. I mean, you know, whenever people tell me, oh, my trainer said I don't need cardio, I always, that just is like, that drives me crazy because everybody has a heart. Heart health is so important, especially as we age, 40s, 50s, 60s. The government recommends 150 minutes of heart pumping exercise a week. You've got to get that heart pumping. Extra cardio, when we're getting to our menopausal years, will help to burn off a few extra calories, and sometimes it's even 300 to 500 extra calories a day that is causing that belly fat to stay. The other thing I would say, number one, sugar, sugar, sugar. The sugar is keeping the belly fat on. You've got to get rid of added sugar. I have no problem with fruit. I don't know anybody who got fat eating fruit. We talk about that all the time. You know, it's all about getting rid of that sugar. We have another blog. You know, I'm always referencing blogs because obviously I'm absolutely passionate about disseminating information, which is why at Get Healthy You, we are writing all day long. But we have a blog about the 4 hormones as you get older that are keeping you from losing weight. And, you know, insulin is the fat-storing hormone. So if you've got too much sugar in your bloodstream, it's constantly storing it, and mostly as belly fat. So That would be my, I would just say, eat as clean as you can and really avoid added sugar.
I was going to say added sugar is like the #1 thing for belly fat, especially those artificial sweeteners, the aspartame, all the, that stuff that's added into stuff.
Well, and people think that artificial sweetener is like a good thing, like, oh, I'm saving the calories, but still your body feels that spike or that,
right.
Or reacts to it like it's sugary. And your taste buds get used to it.
Right. Especially liquid sugars, stuff you don't even think about. You're picking up a juice, it says it's healthy on it. You think, but the liquid sugar goes straight to your gut, whereas when you eat an apple, there's like fiber mitigating the sugar too as you're ingesting it. But like Chris said, no one got that eating fruit. So I would say the liquid sugars, the artificial sugars, those are a big common problem with the stomach region.
Awesome. And along those same lines, we've got a question about eating. If I can just find it. Sharon says, what do you suggest for emotional eaters? I have my workouts under control, but my eating is terrible and defeats the purpose.
I cannot believe she's being so naughty. She's not usually this barky or angry. My goodness, I might have to let Lindsey run this. Emotionally, a lot of times, and I don't know, you didn't add anything about the time of day, but for most people, evenings are tough because that's when you're vulnerable. That's typically when you slow your day down. Yeah. You kind of come home, you might relax, watching a show, reading, doing something, and then you feel that vulnerability and you eat. And I've been known to do it myself. Sometimes it just feels good. So you have to find other ways to kind of soothe yourself other than eating, whether it's a cup of tea is still something to drink, but maybe something that kind of makes you feel relaxed, like a bath, or something special like that. And it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of hard work. Roxy, get over here. She is requiring a little discipline right now. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I think, like Chris said, you are definitely not alone. We all fall subject to the emotional eating, especially late at night. My biggest go-to, as Chris mentioned, is the cup of tea. Or I really like, if I need something where I'm like, oh, I kind of, obviously you listen to your body if you're hungry, but when I feel like, but I really want something a little sweeter, I'll even just warm up some almond milk, throw a little bit of cinnamon in it, throw some turmeric in it. Yeah. That gives me that extra satisfaction of what I really
find. I always call it your swap foods. Find your swap foods. Like, I love ice cream. That's my emotional eating food. Like, I love it. So I found a love in Greek yogurt. Yes. Where that creaminess and that healthy fat satisfies me, and I can kind of swap it out for ice cream. So sometimes if you find that right swap too, it makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure. And then I always say, think of it as before, it goes back to that mindful eating. As you're about to eat it, think, okay, how am I going to feel after this? Mm-hmm. Am I going to feel like good? Because especially at night, what I like to think about is, am I going to wake up hungry, ready to take on the day? I love when I wake up hungry, and then I'm like, oh, my metabolism.
I wake up hungry every day.
Right? But if I'm binging at night or if I'm eating at night, then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm not really hungry. You know what I mean? You kind of feel a little lethargic. So I always think, how am I going to feel in the morning? I want to take on the day, take on my workouts. So
right.
And then if you do fall subject to it, you get up the next morning and you forgive yourself and you use it as extra fuel for your workout that day.
Absolutely. And forgiving yourself is really the key.
Totally. All right. Stephanie says, I'm 51 years old and love your workouts. I did the bar sculpt this week. It was great. She says, but it seems like it's getting harder for me to get an early morning workout in before I leave for work. Do you have any tips for me to be a bit more of an early riser?
Well, okay, a couple of things. First of all, there is no magic in the morning, meaning the same calorie burned at 5 a.m. is the same calorie burned at 5 p.m. So you can't beat yourself up. It doesn't matter. But if you like the morning, because that's better for you, will you throw a toy for her for 1 second? If you like waking up, and that's, it's going to be more efficient for your day, I'm here to tell you that for 18 years, I've been teaching classes at 5:30 in the morning, 18 years, and I still set 2 alarms. You have to have discipline. I set one in the bathroom and one next to my bed, because 90% of the time now, 98% of the time, that alarm goes off next to my bed, I turn it off and I stand up and go. But that alarm in the bathroom saves me, because I have to stand up out of bed to go turn it off, and by the time I'm standing, I'm up. And habit is created, by doing something over and over and over. So you got to commit, whether it's somebody you're going to meet or a friend or something, and say, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 months. Don't let yourself do it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not enough. Sometimes even a month isn't. Sometimes you have to commit to that 3 months of something, but I will tell you that for me, it is the 2 alarm trick. I cannot get out of bed without 2 alarms, and my body, I don't just naturally wake up at 4:30 and go, oh gosh, it's time to work out. That alarm has to go off for me. Any tip from you, Lindsey?
Yeah, for me, it's a total commitment thing the night before. I have to get my mind right. I have to mentally wrap my head around it. Like the night before, I'm committing to it. So I set out my lemon. I set out my mugs because I'm going to make warm lemon water first thing when I wake up. I set out my shoes. I set out exactly what I'm going to wear so I don't have to think about it. So it's all laid out for me. And there are times, literally, I don't know where I read this somewhere, but it was that if your mind is awake, you know, so you're already up, you're not going to get any good sleep after that. Like, if you've hit that alarm and you're like, oh, but I could just go back to bed, then you're kind of thinking there and you're like, oh, but I'm guilty for not working out. Like, literally, you're up, just get up and do it.
Yeah, you won't get any quality. Once that alarm is going off, you're not going to get quality sleep for the next, 20 minutes while you contemplate whether you should get up or not.
And then
I will say, as I've gotten older and my life has gotten busy, and when I had kids, like, laying everything out for me was pretty hard because by the time it was bedtime, I was like, forget it, it's bedtime. But I have a system, and I heard Lindsey say that too. A system is key. Create some sort of a system where it's clockwork. Literally, every night, go in my bathroom, turn on the alarm, set my alarm next to my bed, get in my bed. Like, you've got your system, and that's the key.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a question about the Better Butt Challenge
Yay.
From Tammy. She says, I love your challenges. As you progress and increase the reps, can you break up the moves? So doing the Better Butt Challenge, I can do the squats and cross behind lunges all at once, but the pass-through lunges make my legs tire out. So if I do 12 now and 12 later, is that still productive?
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it goes back to that saying, get her done. We don't care how you divide it up. Now, there is something to be said about repetition because it's that engagement of the muscle, and you'll build up to potentially doing all of them. But it is a lot. I did it live with you guys on Sunday, and those pass-through lunges, well, actually, my friend Joy did the pass-through lunges, and I did the cross-behinds, but she was like, holy cow, you really do feel it. So, yes, divide it up, take your little break. Finishing it up is better than nothing, and repeat the challenge after the 2 weeks because I bet you'll feel even stronger the second time through.
Awesome. We've got another leg move question. Christy says, do you recommend squatting beyond 90 degrees?
Squatting beyond 90. Oh, like going down low enough. All right, well, let's each give our answer on what you feel about that. I've worked with some of my friends who are exercise physiologists. They're very heady. Like when they talk, sometimes I'm like, could you repeat that for the normal people? But I've talked to them a little bit about squatting. And one of the things that that I've been taught, and I'm interested to hear what Lindsey has to say, is that deep squats are totally okay for you if your knees are healthy. If you have a predisposed injury from a sport you did when you were younger, if you had some sort of surgery, if you're overweight and your joints aren't up to it and you just started working out a couple weeks ago, then yeah, overdoing it and going too low. But if you can go below 90 degrees without pain, I mean, you see gymnasts, you see my daughter is an intense yogi, and she can move her body in weird ways. I can squat pretty low because I haven't had any knee injuries as of during my lifetime. So that to me is not as much of the problem as doing it incorrectly. I see a lot of people when they go into a squat, and you guys know because I talk about it all the time, and I've heard Lindsey talk about it too, is that people just hip hinge. They go like this instead of going like this, dropping their seat and sitting back. And when you hip hinge and you're overusing your low back, that's what I worry about. But that would be my answer. I mean, there's no harm in going lower. Right. You see it in a lot of sports, different things, like volleyball. Her husband, by the way, is a professional volleyball player, just FYI. Beach volleyball player, should we mention.
Kind of studly.
He is super studly. But, they're always down in a deep squat.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because I have way more range of motion than he does. It's really struggling.
That is funny.
He's constantly working on his range of motion, you guys. So his goal is actually to get lower. So he strives for that. He does pistol squats a lot, the single leg squat, really striving for that. But like Chris said, I think it's all about your range of motion. And I totally agree with what you said, as long as you're doing the form correctly. And so one cue that's always just stuck with me, that makes me always check back with myself as a gut check, even when I'm going as low as I can, is can you like wiggle your toes, or think about it, visually think, can someone slide a stack of paper under my toes? Is my weight in my heels? So
right,
as long
keeping your weight back.
Keeping your weight back. You're sitting, like Chris said, not just hinging forward, really weight back. Can someone slide a stack of paper under my toes?
I love that. That's a really cool cue. I'm going to steal. I like that one. I'll use that.
Just like me.
A cue that I used this morning in my class this morning actually was in my 6:30 class this morning. We were doing squats, and a cue that I used for them is from my friend Todd Durkin. If any of you guys watched that show on NBC, Strong, he was the runner-up. He almost won it with his partner, and he is just the most amazing guy. But he trains a lot of pro football players, and his cue all the time, and I've taken a lot of his classes, are I need to see your number on your jersey. So he says, like, if you're wearing a number right here, I should always be able to see the number. You're never hunched over so far that your trainer can't see your number. So I was telling the class this morning, show me your numbers, you guys. Keep your chest up. And I think that cue helps too. If you sit back, chest up, go down as low as you can.
I'm going to take that one. Stick it in my
We've got just a comment, not a question, from Kathy. She says, just wanted to say thank you to GHU TV. I lost 10 pounds in 2.5 months.
Yay!
I'm currently recovering from major surgery, but I can't wait to get back to my workouts when I get the okay from my doctor, and being strong for my workouts has been a benefit to me as I heal.
Absolutely.
That is some really seriously good weight loss. Good for you.
2.5 months.
And consistency is the key. I hope you guys are checking out. Something I want to mention, too. Lindsey and I were talking about this the other day. The calendars on GHU TV. We have calendars for each program. But we have actually created combination calendars. For those of you who say, well, I just finished the definitions calendar, or I finished the bar sculpt calendar, and now I want variety within different programs. The Firm and Burn, the Ultimate Abs, the Total Body Transformation, the Just Get Started Beginners, those are all combination calendars where we've combined several different programs and kind of set up all the videos for you so you don't have to think. So try those out. And the other thing I was going to comment on, that Lindsey's helping babysit the dog, is that Lindsey and I, come on over here, Lindsey and I are filming together next week. So we're going to be doing a program for you guys together. I'm so excited.
It's going to be awesome.
It'll be really fun. And so that one will be coming in August. In June, for those of you who are GHU TV members, we have a ballet body coming, and I got to tell you, it's really beautiful. It's from my friend Jennifer Gallardi. If any of you haven't done yoga flowetry yet, you need to, because just watching her beautiful body is incredible. She's got such good form. She's an ex-dancer. She's a friend of mine, and she's absolutely darling. So. I don't know why I got off tangent on that.
No, but I like the combination calendars mixes in with the question we had previously about the yoga and how that fits into getting your heart rate up. Like, the combination calendars are great for that.
Yeah, we always throw a yoga into our calendars, and we actually really think about that because we think everybody needs, and we sit around, Claire could attest to the fact that we sit around and talk about this stuff. And one of the other writers, Kim Pieper, who is an amazing associate editor also, she's a trainer, and she helps really work through the calendars and put those rest days in.
Awesome. So we've got a question from Annie. She says, is there a set amount of weight to add each week when you're strength training as you build muscle?
Well, I'll let you answer that first since I've been hogging it.
No, I wouldn't say necessarily a set amount of weight to add as necessarily as I say your last 2 reps should always be to failure. So, like, if I'm doing a set of 12 reps, my set number 11 and 12 should be really almost to failure. Like, my muscles should be fatiguing, especially on set number 3 or however many sets you're doing. Maybe the first set you can get through, But I always say it's not so much about adding weight as it is knowing and challenging. So if I'm not getting to failure, then I need to be upping my weight. And always start, what you have on hand if you have 5-pound increments or however you can adjust. But I would say focus less on weight and focus more on striving to push your muscles to failure.
And that goes along the lines of thinking of always think about what muscle group you're working and what you're doing. So I always tell people, you don't really want to be mindless when you're doing weight training. You don't want to be going like this and looking around. I mean, you really want to think, okay, can I feel this in my bicep? And to failure, I always say, you kind of hear like 12 to 15 reps or to failure. If you do 15 reps of something and you feel nothing, you're like, I didn't feel that, then absolutely go heavier. I would say, though, it depends on the type of workout you're doing, because there are some workouts where you're using light weights and higher reps, and that's going to be a little bit more of that burn in the muscle belly, versus if you're using heavier weights, a little bit slower movement, you're going to be ripping up those muscles and kind of building more based on strength.
Right.
Definitions, the program Definitions was completely based on using heavier weights, slower movements, and no, it's not cardio. So that might be one to check out too.
Great. We've got a question from the UK. She says, hi from the UK. I've been using your website, emails, and blogs to keep me motivated since April. So far, I've lost nearly 1.5 stones. I don't know what that translates to here, but sounds good.
Right? Sounds good.
Stone sounds like a lot of
go.
Yeah. So she wants to know, A, when are you coming to the UK? And B, are there any tips for helping improve with push-ups? Is it just practice? I have no problem doing them on my knees, but really struggle with a full push-up.
Wow, well, we'd like to go to the UK.
Right?
I would.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And apparently that's 21 pounds. Wow, good for you. 21 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
That's
incredible.
Okay, right now, seriously, you guys, you are making me cry. All these people losing weight when people tell me, and you guys, I want you to hear this. When people tell me, oh, I can't do that, I can't lose weight, I can't work out. I was just with my sister, talking with my sister again, because I'm like, Katie, you can do these workouts at home. Yes, you can. You know, don't use it as an excuse. So she sent me a picture of her and her kids doing the GHU TV on her TV. But like, you guys are a testimony to the fact that yes, you can. You can make time for it. You can fit it in. You can do it in small increments. And I'm just so incredibly proud of you. But back to push-ups. I'm going to sound like a broken record. What was that game show where you'd say, I have a song for that. We have a blog for that. Oh. We have a blog about how to do the perfect push-up, and it shows you all the different things going on in your body. Starting on your knee, like, you know, doing a knee push-up to a toe push-up is a big advancement. So you might want to go from a knee push-up on the floor to a toe push-up into a chair. So you're elevating your push-up a little bit, but at least you're on your toes, and you're trying to get more body weight into it. And it's going to be about getting deeper range of motion in those knee push-up too, so that instead of just doing this, you know, you're getting that really good pump through your chest and work your way up to it. It does take time. It is not easy, and you can be super flippin' proud of yourself when you actually get to the even one toe push-up, all right? So just keep working on it, because it's one of those things that's going to take a couple months.
Push-ups are my nemesis.
Yes.
For you guys. And you can, if you do the videos with me, my videos that are on Get Healthy You, you know this, because I'm always like, push-ups. But they're so good, like Chris said. But a good transition, too, in between is I love the incline. And then also just going to one knee. So if you're on two knees, pick up one leg and just shoot that leg straight behind you so you're on one knee. That's going to add even that extra challenge.
Too. Yeah, good point. Awesome. Both of us fatigue. I mean, I will be doing any of my videos, I'll be thinking to myself, holy cow, I can barely do one more push-up. You know, you're dying.
Yeah.
So. Awesome. So Suzanne says, Chris, you're great. Lindsey, I'm going to do metabolic reboot tomorrow.
Yay.
And she says, I want to ask Chris about Quest bars since they have sucralose in it. And what are your thoughts on that? I know you recommended them before. I'm not really a fan of Lara bars or Kind bars. Thanks for the info.
Oh, it's hard. You know, I did go on a little spurt where I was trying the Quest bars, and they were easy to travel with because they didn't melt, like they didn't have chocolate all over them. But I'll be honest, I'm not like a huge fan. I found 2 out of like the 20 flavors that I actually liked. And what kind of bugs me about them is, I don't know if you've ever done this, if you've ever eaten them, but if you leave the wrapper open, they get like completely hard overnight, which is weird. So I'm not a big bar person. It's hard. I personally like Lara bars and Kind bars because they're just nuts and fruit. But what I have noticed is there are a lot of new bars out there. I was at Target the other day, and Claire, we have a whole bunch of new bars here in the office, right?
Super good, yeah.
Like chia seed bars. There's a brand called Warrior. Have you tried those?
Yeah, that's the chia seed brand, is the Health Warrior.
Okay, love those. And chia seeds are full of omega and good for you. I've found some, Kind bar has a granola bar that is not so nutty and fruity, but it's more of like a granola pressed bar, which I kind of like that. My thing now is trail mix. I just make homemade trail mix instead of eat a bar. And I would rather eat, like, I'll mix in, for me personally, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, almonds, pistachios. I've been having like a pistachio thing going on.
My husband banned me from eating pistachios because he says they're too expensive. He went grocery shopping and I had pistachios on the list. He was like, it was $12.99 for a bag. No way. And I was like, oh, come on.
I love pistachios. And then I also will put dried fruit in there.
Yep.
And I'll throw in cacao chips, like 65% or more, dark chocolate, because that's my little treat. Do you throw anything else in your trail mix? I don't know
if you're like, if you know this, but you're like speaking my love language. Trail mix is my, like, that's my vice. Like, yeah. I mean, if you're talking like people emotional eating, like mine used to be Costco-sized bags of trail mix. Like, I'm not kidding. But trail mix is my jam. Yes. If I can find them, I love throwing like goji berries in there. But I love dried blueberries. Our dried cherries are a great one.
I love dried cherries.
And
love them.
All about almonds. I throw Brazil nuts in mine because I have thyroid deficiencies. So Brazil nuts, the selenium's great for thyroid and women's health in general, women's hormones.
I would say that Trader Joe's has the cheapest nuts and dried fruit. They have these apple slices that there's no sugar added to them, and they're soft, and they're big though. So I take them and I cut them up with the scissors, and I put those in my trail mix too. And I just walk around with a bag of trail mix. And we were just talking about our husbands, how both of us. Okay, I've been married for 27 years. How many years have you been married? One. She's been married for 1 year. I've been married for 27 years. And both of our husbands will always, whenever we're like traveling or walking around, they'll be like, "Hey, do you have any food? What do we have?" And they'll use the words, "What do we have for food?" Right? They expect us to carry all the food. Whenever we go on a trip, my husband's always like, "What do you have in your bag? What do you have in your bag?" And so now he is addicted to my trail mix too, because I always have a bag in my suitcase or in my handbag or whatever.
I have a bag in my car in my glove box right now.
Yeah,
I do. Really.
Yeah. So we are suggesting trail mix.
Trail mix is amazing.
Now I'm really hungry, you guys. Great. We've got a question. This is a really good question. It says, "Hello, Chris." This is from Danny. "My question is, why do I feel nauseated while working out sometimes? Is this an indication of something wrong, or why would that happen?"
Well, it happens often when the weather changes. Like if you go from working out when it's a little colder to when it's high humidity. I'm always trying to tell my outdoor classes, like, "Hey, you guys, take it easy because we've had a huge barometric pressure change and dew point change, and your body reacts a little differently." It could also be that you're pushing yourself really hard if you're new to exercise, depending on how long you've been exercising for. Sometimes when you start doing those like intensity intervals, you get a little nauseous, and a lot of times it's because you need water and or oxygen. And I tell people not to ever let your head get below your heart then. Keep your head above your heart, walk it off, breathe. That's kind of my thing. I always say to my classes, walk it off for a moment. Don't just sit down and get dizzy. Walk it off a little bit. Drink some water. Often dehydration and the need for oxygen. And then it could be just overexerting. And it could be the weather.
Yeah, I would say, you get to know your body, play with the idea. Do you need like half a banana? Do you need something?
Fuel. It can be fuel too. Good point.
Like before, if you're doing an early morning workout, sometimes people need something in their stomachs, or sometimes you don't. Maybe you adverse, But yeah, water, dehydration, and then if that nauseous feeling sets in, like Chris said, you don't, walk it off for a moment. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to chalk up your workout, but maybe avoid those like burpees where you're going down and up, those down and up motions, or
no head below the heart when you're nauseous.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good tips. Okay, Margaret wants to know, what's a good exercise or stretch for shin splints?
Oh my gosh, here I go. Broken record.
There's a blog for that.
There's a blog for that. We have a really popular blog on shin splints, how to heal and deal with them, and then exercises to help with shin splints. So, shin splints are a drag because they happen a lot of times when you increase your mileage, change your form of exercise, so it's something new. A lot of like ankle stretches, so when you're doing up and downs, drawing the alphabet with your foot kind of helps to strengthen. But once you get those shin splints, look at the blog. But a lot of times it's icing it, it's taking a rest, it's checking the inserts of your shoes.
I was going to say shoes.
Avoiding high impact for a little while.
I remember when I started marathon running, I was like blown away when I found out that you should be changing your shoes every 300 miles or so. I was like, what? That's like, so yeah, shoes are a big one. But like you said, the plantar and dorsiflexion, drawing the alphabet.
Yeah, and it is a drag, but they do go away. That's the good news, is they do go away.
Okay, so Lorraine wants to know, can I do HIIT workouts every day, or should I wait 24 hours between those high intensity interval workouts?
That's, well, and Lindsey teaches a lot of HIIT, so let's see what we both say. It depends on how high intensity you are doing the workout. I always tell my classes, in a range of, like, for instance, high intensity intervals on Saturday mornings, I teach live. I would say half the people are going like all out, like mega intense, and they're so sore the next day. And some people are just doing intervals, not necessarily high intensity. They aren't at that level yet where they can push themselves. So if you wake up and you feel good and you aren't sore, then yes, you could do another one. If you wake up and you feel like, holy cow, my body is sore, and yesterday I was really overexerting myself, then a day of rest is definitely called for. Typically, I personally think you don't need more than 3 days of HIIT a week. Cross training, wouldn't you say, with other forms of exercise?
Yeah, I like that. I love cross training. Like this morning, actually, I woke up and I was going to do a HIIT workout, and I taught one last night, but I was like, oh, it's fine. I normally don't teach on Monday nights, but I subbed, and I was like, yeah, I can do one tomorrow morning. And I woke up, you guys, and I was like, no way. Like, I felt sluggish, and I was like, today it's a 3-mile run and a little bit of lifting of upper body. So it's totally listening to your body, but HIIT workouts, because they can be intense, especially if you're doing them at the really high intense heart pumping, do release cortisol in the body. So cortisol is our stress hormone, and so you don't want to be over-releasing cortisol because then that strains your metabolism and a variety of other things.
That is in our blog about taking a rest day, that when you over-exercise, you actually, exercise is supposed to reduce cortisol until it becomes too much. And when you're overexerting, the people who are doing HIIT every day, you start to flood with cortisol. It does the opposite. So read that blog, because between the taking a rest day blog and the 4 hormones for women as we're getting older that you need to know about for weight loss, those 2 blogs are very beneficial for all of you.
Yes, they are. So Jan writes in, and she says, I had a medial meniscus tear repaired in January, did my physical therapy, and want to get back to running. She's a runner. But I have days like today when I can hardly walk. I couldn't even do Zumba tonight. I'm 55, but I want to get back in running shape. Help.
That's tough.
Have you had any meniscus tears?
I have not. Fortunately, I've had no knee injuries. But I have worked with people who have had knee injuries and meniscus tears. So, again, it goes back to that listening to your body. But really, strength training is really big because it's all those muscles that are around your knee too. So your quad, that leg especially that had the meniscus tear, probably got a little muscle dystrophy because it was in a brace. You were, staying off of it. So strength training, that leg, or both legs obviously, but strength training, the quad specifically, because the quad is really focusing on holding that the knee in place. So quad, so leg extensions, even body weight leg extensions.
And I'll even go a little further to say this was a topic of conversation in the office yesterday. Actually, Claire, I don't know if you were listening to Ashley when she was talking.
Oh, yeah, about her knee, yeah.
One of our intern's father is an orthopedic surgeon. And so she said she wanted to write a blog about the inner quad. And I said, that's really cool because, you have 4 heads to your quad. And she was talking about how her dad said that the inner quad muscle has a lot to do with the inside knee, the inner meniscus and the inside knee. And when that inner quad and your adductors are weak, adductors being your inner thigh, it can cause some inside knee issues. So I think we're going to write that blog and let you know some exercises, but even doing some inner thigh exercises that also incorporate the inner knee could be helpful. The other thing I would say is as we get older, like I know for myself, my inside left knee was hurting me a couple weeks ago. I don't know exactly what I did. I've never had a knee injury that's been serious. But whenever it bugs me, I back off a little bit. So it was hurting me to run. So I just kind of held back and I didn't do any running or anything that was any movement. Like my brother is an orthopedic surgeon. He always says to me, when something hurts, don't do the motion that hurts it. I'm like, brilliant, duh. Right. I could have told you that. But so lay off, and maybe because you had this injury, come back slowly but surely. And when you start to feel that it's a bit too much, back off and then come back again and then back off and just be really paying attention to what works for you.
Have you guys heard that saying? I've seen a couple like Instagram posts. If you listen to your body when it talks to you, you don't have to listen to it when it screams at you.
I love that. That is good.
Yeah, and right, because I got stress fractures in my feet, and so I constantly am battling that fine line of like, okay, they're starting to hurt, I gotta back off. It's hard. It's more mentally challenging. Like you said, if you used to be a runner and you suffer an injury, it's more mentally challenging almost than physically challenging because you want that, you feel like you need to have that run to get the same amount of workout, but you don't. Getting strength training in, getting your heart rate up, you're still doing all those things.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. So on the injury topic, Dawn wants to know, what do you recommend for someone who's suffering from lower back pain? She's looking for exercises to strengthen her back.
I'm going to say there's a blog for that. I'm gonna guess.
I love it. They're on there. Boy, we just posted on Facebook today the 12 best yoga poses to beat back pain. Yoga is phenomenal for helping with back pain, as is Pilates. And I would say, I'm a severe back pain sufferer. 4 years ago, my back was so bad. I've had 2 MRIs. I have a completely missing disc between L4 and L5. And I will say, over the course of the last 4 years, my back pain has gone to almost 0. I have a little, but not a lot. And I have learned to work my body in the right direction. So again, listening. I learned how to do that burpee so it doesn't hurt me. But burpees hurt me for a long time, and I just didn't do them, period. But back to strengthening those muscles, doing a lot of core work. Again, I'm going to recommend Pilates, and we do have like a core blast Pilates in the definitions program on Get Healthy UTV, and I am a Pilates instructor. And a lot of the movements that you do that really pull in those low abs and help to engage that low back. The other thing that really changed my life, and I'm just going to share this with you, is that I'm pretty sure that I started getting arthritis setting in, and that was a lot of my pain was the arthritis, because those muscles around my vertebrae, like the spine surgeon said, and I never had surgery, but he said, your body will start to be okay without that disc, like your muscles, unless there is nerve impingement, which I don't have. He said the bones will probably just sit there. They can even, fuse together over time. But the muscles around it, I felt like were arthritic. So I started this program of every morning for 10 minutes. And I'm not lying when I say every morning. I make space in my suitcase for my heating pad. I take out a pair of shoes and put in my heating pad. And every morning for about 10 minutes, I just put the heating pad on my back so it heats up, gets blood flow going. Then I take one of those massage balls they're just like the size of a tennis ball, and I just kind of put it into my pressure points there and loosen it up. That's changed my life. And again, I used to only do that when my back hurt. Like I'd say, oh, my back is so bad today, I'm going to heat it up. Now I do it every day. Doesn't matter if my back hurts or doesn't hurt, and I'm almost, I'd say I've got, I'm like almost pain-free.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Preventative care is so important, but it's so overlooked.
It is so overlooked, and it's easy. I mean, even us, we'll say, like you were saying, oh, my feet hurt, or my knee was hurting me, and we have to really listen to our bodies. I am going to remember that saying.
Yes.
Listen to your body so it doesn't have to scream at you. I love it.
Yes.
That's really good. I'm going to remember that too. We've got a good one from Tammy, who wants to know, with regards to shoes, you mentioned you love Nike Lunar Glide. Mm-hmm. And I did just order my first pair to try, but you also mentioned you added your own insoles. Do you have a certain kind you recommend? I have a hard time finding insoles that are cushy enough.
So I'll tell you what I do, and I'm curious to see if Lindsey changes out hers. But the cheapest part of a shoe, I did some work with New Balance back in the day, and the one thing that they told me was the cheapest part of a shoe is the insole. They spend no money on it. It's thin, it's flat, it has no support, and it's just a throwaway piece. So what I do is I just pull out those insoles, and I just buy. Again, I don't have major feet problems, but I just buy Dr. Scholl's inserts at Target. They're pretty cheap, and I just slide those in, but they give me that good arch support, and they're a little more cushioning, and I think they give the shoe longer life, and I think that makes a difference. The reason I love the Lunar Glides, I'm interested to hear what shoes you like, is because I like a mesh toe box, because I have wide feet. So I hate when my toes are smushed, and then as I get older, like if my big toe is smushed, like it drives me crazy. The only thing you have to be careful about with any kind of a mesh toe box is if it gets too big, it can get sloppy as you're doing side-to-side motion. So you got to make sure it's snug, because they do stretch. Those mesh shoes stretch. What's your favorite shoe?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I have very skinny, narrow feet. So
yeah, the opposite.
I have like long, skinny feet, and I love shoes.
I have short, fat feet. No, I'm kidding.
I love when shoes are like super tight to my feet. I don't know why.
I do too. I do not like sloppy shoes.
Yes, they have to be nice. So I really like Under Armour has a nice sleek fit. So it's a little bit for the slimmer foot, and also Mizuno shoes are really good for the slim fit. And
okay, so that goes back to you have to really just figure out what works for you. But I would say for studios or for doing like these kinds of workouts, like Get Healthy UTV workouts, you want a shoe that's good for side-to-side motion. A lot of running shoes are made for only front-back motion, and they trip you up when you go side-to-side. So you want to consider that too.
Yes.
But I do have like, I don't know, 20 pair of Lunar Glides.
It was that was like well, obviously I had stress fractures, which is just a bummer, but that's when I really decided to start investing in shoes. So I have a pair of running shoes that are just running shoes. I have a pair of, I think he's right there by the door.
Oh, she has to go to the bathroom. Oh, that dog. All right, we're okay. We're good for a few more minutes.
So yeah, running shoes.
Well, we've got a few minutes.
You need both.
Yeah.
Awesome. Deb wants to know, if you're trying to lose weight, is it better to eat 3 big meals a day or to eat 3 smaller meals with a couple snacks?
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with your personality. Like, some people don't do well with snacking all day because then they're grazing all day and they're eating all day and they can't stop, or they overeat. Some people are really good with that disciplinary 3 meals a day. I personally, I like my 3 meals. Like, I like breakfast, I like lunch, I like dinner. But I always have a snack in between, especially between lunch and dinner, and then dinner and bed. I always have a snack. Oh my gosh, she has to go to the bathroom, but she can hold on 5 minutes.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I agree. I like my snacks. I do have a little bit, like, lunch is kind of like my big one I try to really focus on. And actually something that I kind of switched to was really doing more raw stuff, more raw vegetables and things at lunchtime, and then a lot more cooked stuff, because your digestive system is more amped up at lunchtime and it starts to slow down at nighttime. So just kind of finding what works for you.
And raw veggies to me are the best snack ever, because you can fill up on them. They're fiber, they're water,
you get the crunch.
You get the crunch, and I dip them in hummus. I dip them in guac, and I mean, really, well, I'll always go back to that saying of, I don't know anybody who gained weight from eating fruits and vegetables. Seriously, that is not the problem in America. So, but I think you have to get to know yourself, whether you want 3 meals. I kind of like the 3-meal 2-snack deal. However, and I'm curious about you, when I'm working out at 5:30 in the morning, I don't eat breakfast prior because that's too early. I usually have a banana or a pre-workout drink, and then I eat my breakfast after. What do you do?
Typically I'm going, because I'm early mornings too, I have class early, so I actually don't eat anything before class. I have my warm lemon water, and then I teach class, and then after class I have a green smoothie that usually has protein in it of some sort, and then that's like my right away, and then I'm usually eating again within 2 hours or so, 1 hour actually usually, and I'm typically having my egg muffins, and actually then that's when I have my coffee with heavy cream to get my full fat in for the day, and that is like a good filler for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, on the topic of meal replacements, Deirdre wants to know, what are the best meal replacement shakes for lactose-free people? Should I go pre-made or make them myself, and do you have any tips?
Well, I'm not a big fan of pre-made unless you're on the go and you absolutely have to drink something that comes out of a bottle. Dairy-free, did you say, Claire? Dairy-free?
Yeah, she said lactose-free, yeah.
There's a lot of great plant-based proteins. So, we just recently at Get Healthy were talking about Vega Clean, which is a plant-based protein. One of my favorite protein powders ever is pumpkin seed protein powder. It is so rich, and you can add that to fruits and some greens, and you could throw in some nut milk, and you could add some chia seeds, and you could make this really nice meal replacement. And what I do a lot is I make them and I freeze them. So if I'm in a hurry, I just stick them in the freezer, and then I grab and go in the morning. And literally, like, in the summer, they melt in about 40 minutes. In the winter, I am not kidding. It'll stay frozen for like 2 hours.
Yeah, in the winter. Or if you want to have it, what I do is I freeze mine and then I take them out and set them in the fridge the night before, and then it's thawed out, so I can just grab it, shake it, and go. Yeah. Yes, I'm a huge fan. Everyone's always like, "How do you have smoothies all the time after you work out?" And I'm like, because I pre-make them. I'm not making them at 5 in the morning.
Right.
I pre-make them the night before, or 2 days before, whatever. If you freeze them, they.
I have a funny story for all of you who are still listening. I go through TSA early in the morning sometimes. I used to travel a lot more than I do now, but I always take a frozen smoothie. And so I bring it through TSA, it goes through, they always stop me as it goes through the security scanner, and then they go, "Ma'am, what's in your bag?" And I always say, "My breakfast," and they take it out and they look at it, and they usually go, "That looks so good," and I go, "Yeah, it's really good, it's a green smoothie," or whatever it is, blueberry, and then they go, "Okay, I've never had it taken from me, not once."
So same thing happened, but I was traveling with my girlfriend who had a baby, and they were going to take it from me, and I said it was baby food. So when in doubt, just claim it's baby food.
I've never had it taken from me because it's frozen. I said it's not a liquid or a gel. It's frozen solid. Yeah. So anyway, that would be my recommendation, is make your own.
Awesome.
There's a lot of great non-whey proteins out there, or non-dairy.
I think we have time for one more question. Rebecca wants to know, what kind of foods should she be eating if she has hypothyroidism? She has hypothyroidism and high cholesterol, and she wants to bring that down naturally without medicine, if possible.
And you are talking about your thyroid. What?
Yeah, so I have been doing a ton of research on thyroid just because something I've been dealing with as well. So as she probably knows, being lethargic and sluggish is one of the #1 causes of thyroid issues. But Brazil nuts, 3 a day. Seriously, consistency, Brazil nuts 3 a day. I eat them like they're vitamins every morning. They have selenium in them, really amazing for thyroid health and for balancing women's hormones. So I would say Brazil nuts. I also, these are a little bit more out there items, but chlorophyll, you can get liquid chlorophyll. I add drops to either just water or add the drops to smoothies. And green smoothies are like the best thing you can do for thyroid health. I'll actually put my Brazil nuts right in there. I'll put my chlorophyll right in there. And those are 2 big helpers. Bee pollen is another great one for energy.
Bee pollen's great for like everything, but it's pretty intense in flavor. You have to mix it.
So I just add a couple sprinkles to my green smoothie. So I would say really get into the habit of making smoothies and researching those thyroid healthy foods, Brazil nuts, chlorophyll, bee pollen, and putting those into your smoothie. And then obviously consulting your endocrinologist.
And I have a friend who had hyperthyroidism, so the opposite, and which can be very serious because you get high blood pressure and your fast heartbeat. So she solved it all through food, and she went to a naturalist and but did a lot of things like you're talking about, like found the right foods that had the right vitamins and minerals in them. As a matter of fact, we just wrote a blog about magnesium because so many people are magnesium deficient, and magnesium creates stiff, sore muscles and a lot of issues in your body. And you can take a magnesium supplement, which I've done, but I just started eating more pumpkin seeds because I know pumpkin seeds are so full of magnesium, and I really noticed that the stiffness went down. Food is amazing, you guys. Food is amazing. It can do some seriously good things for us. So.
Yes. Bone broth is another really good one.
Bone broth is good.
Bone broth is amazing for thyroid health. So yeah, because it's directly related to your gut too. So probiotics, fermented foods, sauerkraut, the kombucha drink, probiotics are great too. Yogurt, Greek yogurt.
Awesome. All good tips. Okay. Well, I think that's about our time. Really good questions, everyone.
You've done such a good job, Claire, of getting all those questions out.
Good. People had really good questions. It was fun.
I really quickly, I was going to say 2 things. I did see one, and I don't remember if this came in on our questions or if this came in on Facebook, but somebody had asked about exercise after hysterectomy, and I just want to mention something. If you are that female who's had a hysterectomy or you've had a couple babies and your core is not responding, Pilates. It's all about learning how to engage the low abs and improve the pelvic floor. And then for those of us ladies who, when we do jumping jacks, you pee a little bit, pelvic floor. So check out...
wall sit with Kegels. Wall sits with Kegels. I always tell people, wall sits with Kegels.
Those are really hard.
That sounds really hard.
With Kegels.
And then I was just going to mention, too, that if you are a Get Healthy U TV member, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are glad that we get to work out with you.
Yes.
And if
we're excited to film more, too.
Right, yes, and we're filming more next week, so we're excited. And then if you aren't a Get Healthy U TV member yet, you can join for $10 for the year. That is 83 cents a month. And I'm asking, are we worth 83 cents? Come on!
Yes.
And the code to join at checkout is Chris10, CHRIS 10. And if you put that in at checkout, you get to join for $10 a year. And we really look forward to working out with you. So, Claire, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody been on live with us. We thank you, Lindsey. Thank you, Lindsey, for being here. She's so awesome.
I think I'm sweaty and gross. She's hugging.
I'm disgusting too. You know what? You have to try the metabolic reboot and the bar sculpt because
they are a tough 20 minutes, you guys. I did one this morning and I was working out with myself, which is always kind of weird.
I think that's hilarious.
And I hate myself sometimes, but I really love it.
They're really hard. In a good way. They're really fun. Yeah.
She is really good. So, all right, you guys, we love you. Thank you so much. We'll come live to you on Facebook, and we'll come live next month with Get Healthy U TV. Have a great rest of the month, June. It's summer. We love summer.
Right?
Have a great 4th of July, and then we'll come live again after that. Bye. See you later.